sacred service to redeem the Jewish people. Thank you very much.
In reality, Krystalnacht was a Nazi-sanctioned pogrom staged in Austria and Germany to destroy Jewish synagogues, schools, businesses, and to cause havoc and chaos within the entire Jewish community. The streets of Austria and Germany were littered with broken glass from the destroyed store windows where many people had their businesses. Hence, it was remembered as Krystalnacht. It was the very first phase. It was the foreshadowing of the Holocaust. The date was 11/9, 69 years ago, and I was there then with my parents, and we belonged to the Seitenstatten Synagogue in Vienna, and that too was set aflame. Our mission at the Holocaust Memorial is to educate and perpetuate the history of the Holocaust, so this catastrophe will never, ever occur again.
Nazi stormtroopers carried out the infamous Krystalnacht pogrom against the Jews of Germany and Austria. On November 9th and 10th, 1938, about 100 Jews were murdered and 30,000 more were sent to concentration camps. Nearly 200 synagogues were burned down. More than 7,000 Jewish-owned businesses were destroyed. The vast amount of shattered glass from the windows of Jewish homes gave the rampage its name, Crystal Night, or the Night of Broken Glass.
This widespread pogrom was so well orchestrated and so well organized that in 2 days the Nazis managed to burn nearly 200 synagogues and more than 7,000 Jewish-owned business all over Germany and Austria. As you can see from this map, Krystalnacht devastated Jewish communities throughout the German Reich, even Jewish communities in the recently annexed regions of Austria and Sudetenland and the Free City of Danzig were attacked.
The pretext for this violence was the November 7th assassination of German diplomat Ernst von Rath by Herschel Greenspan, a Jewish teenager whose parents, along with 17,000 other Polish Jews, had been recently expelled from the Reich. Though portrayed as spontaneous outbursts of popular outrage, these pogroms were calculated acts of retaliation carried out by the SA, the SS, and local Nazi Party organizations.
Synagogues occupy a central place in Jewish religious and communal life. To the Nazis, however, they served as a powerful physical reminder of the Jewish presence in Germany. In the months before Krystalnacht, synagogues in Munich, Nuremberg, Dortmund, and Kaiserslautern were demolished on the orders of local Nazi Party officials. In other German towns, anti-Jewish vandalism was common, like in this synagogue in Siegen, Germany.
And this synagogue in the city of Gernsback-Baden in Germany.
Many of the local population, including adults and children, stood by and watched as the synagogue in their neighborhoods going up in flames.
During the November pogroms, stormtroopers smashed Jewish store windows, destroyed goods, and carried out massive looting. German officials calculated that 7,500 enterprises were damaged or destroyed in the rampages. Here, Germans passed by the broken shop window of a Jewish-owned business that was destroyed during Krystalnacht in Berlin.
The burning of the synagogue in Ober-Ramstadt, the local fire department prevented the fire from spreading to nearby home, but made no attempt to intervene in the synagogue fire.
This is the view of the interior of the Eisenweinstrasse synagogue in Nuremberg following its destruction.
On the night of November 9th, the violence became nationwide. Sporadic pogroms had broken out in a number of cities. Local SA, SS, and party leaders then received orders to attack the Jewish communities, carry out arrests, and destroyed synagogues like this one in the city of Aachen.
This document, issued by the Finance Office in Friedrichshain, states that the tax assessment for Dr. Norbert Landecker is set at 4,000 Reichmarks and is to be paid in 4 installments. The Nazis forced the Jews to pay the costs of the pogroms. Jewish store and homeowners had to repair their buildings at their own cost. An atonement fee of 1 billion Reichmarks, about $400 million, was imposed on the community.
In many cities, the Nazis first looted and desecrated the interior of the synagogues prior to setting them on fire, like this vandalized sanctuary of a synagogue on Rudolf Herzog Street. Like many other synagogues throughout Greater Germany, it was severely damaged during the Krystalnacht.
For the first time, Jews were arrested on a massive scale and transported to Nazi concentration camps. About 30,000 Jews were sent to Buchenwald, Dachau, and Sachsenhausen, where hundreds died within weeks of arrivals. Release came only after the prisoners arranged to emigrate and agreed to transfer their property to so-called Aryans.
The sharp reaction to the Krystalnacht outrage that was expressed by the Western press and public did not affect the Nazis. When President Franklin D. Roosevelt recalled the United States Ambassador Hugh Wilson as a protest and declared his deep shock, public pressure did, however, force most of the Western European governments to admit more refugees, especially children, but at the same time, FDR announced that liberalization of America's tight immigration quotas was not in contemplation.
The free world's muted reaction to the Krystalnacht pogrom foreshadowed the terrible silence with which it would greet the Nazis' final solution. Krystalnacht and its aftermath marked a major escalation in the Nazi pogrom of Jewish persecution. This ultimately led to the ill-fated Wannsee Conference, where the future of the European Jews in Germany and the occupied territories was decided.